Hey mate, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good, thanks. Mate, you are non-stop.
Yeah, I have trouble putting the brakes on anything.
It's unbelievable. Was that online today? Just then?
Yeah, I just did a virtual session from 4:30 to 5:30, but I had the two morning sessions this morning.
Mate, it was hot today. I was on camp until 12 and it was hot.
I can't even imagine. I step outside and I feel like I'm gonna faint. So yeah, all my sessions in the afternoon got canceled.
Mate, the fact you're going, I mean, what are you now, 35 weeks?
34.
Absolute warrior. Absolute
Thank
warrior.
you. Appreciate it.
How you doing? Everything all right though? Everything's going okay?
Yeah, everything's going well. I feel super grateful for everything in life, soccer wise, business wise, personal wise. So it's been a good journey.
Oh, mate, that's good. We'll get stuck into it then. Welcome to the Crossing the Pond podcast, hosted by me, Gary Adair, where each week our guests will recount their own experiences of resilience and transformation. Whether it's moving to a new country, tackling health challenges, changing careers, or breaking through personal barriers. It's a pleasure to welcome Sabrina Flores to the podcast this week as she talks through her soccer journey that began and ended in New Jersey. She talks through her pathway to the club, college, international and professional ranks, showcasing her relentless drive to succeed and her selfless attitude to her teammates throughout her playing career. Sabrina also speaks how she plans to instill the same levels of determination and focus both on the eve of parenthood and also into a new business venture as the founder of Flow 2.0, a training and mentoring program for aspiring soccer players. So we'll start off with the playing side of it as a kid. Like what was because you were born in Jersey, is that right?
Yes, born and raised in Jersey.
Obviously, people think about soccer in the US sometimes and they think they play it down a little bit, but I always think that Jersey's a little bit different. Like, what's your perspective on growing up and playing in Jersey?
Oh, I think that like 100% contributed to my long-term success and just my general journey of soccer just by living and breathing Jersey air. I think that, I mean, my parents didn't have any background in soccer. They were they're first generation immigrants. So it's not like they had a huge like knowledge about how to train us, what leagues to go into or whatever. We just grew up in New Jersey, and I think the environment itself shaped both me and my sister. And I say us a lot because that was our whole childhood together. But yeah, I always used to brag about being from Jersey because I just thought that there was a lot more soccer opportunities and competitive like edge in Jersey. I feel like the Jersey grind is just hits different. I feel like people are a little bit more ruthless grinders, workhorses, and yeah, I think it just breeds like a soccer hotbed. I know now they're all throughout the country and world. There's all these different hotbeds, but I feel like when I was growing up, Jersey was the spot to be.
Yeah, definitely. Was there a point? I mean, I can remember you from you younger, not so much younger, but you would come training with some of our guys as well. And to be fair, would definitely set the standard in those sessions as well. But was there a point in your earlier days where you realised, you know what? I mean, and we'll say we as well, we'll use you and your sister, where you both thought, you know what, we could really make a go of this. And this
Yeah,
could be something that's a serious thing for us.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I think like even when we were younger, I don't know what it was or how this ambition started, but I remember since I was like in early middle school, maybe late elementary even, where my sister and I were just like, we want to become pro soccer players, and we just were like, well, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna outwork everyone. We're gonna train. We're going to do all those things. I think it definitely hit in middle school when we realized like maybe what our potential could be because we were getting selected to do different teams and we just were just animals with it. But that was definitely a goal since I was little. I would see all these players go on to play. And even at that time, there weren't that many opportunities for women in the pro world, but I wanted to be that type of player.
Yeah, and you say about your mum and dad, so it's your father's Mexican and your mum's Romanian, is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah, correct.
So how was their sort of scope on the soccer thing? Like you said, they didn't have any sort of bearing on the timings or the way to train or things like that. Were they encouraging through it, or were they kind of putting their own cultural spin on it as they went?
That's a good question. I definitely think that they positively impacted our trajectory because of the fact that they didn't know much. And it was a lot driven by just me and my sister. I think if they were to say, like, do this, do this, do this, then the pressure, I mean, nowadays, kids are just driven by a lot of pressure and standards. But they truly had no idea. There was just something within me and my sister that we were like so driven and we were just so passionate about it. So we were begging to go to trainings. We were begging to go to the boys' training after our high school games. We were begging to go to this, build a soccer field in our backyard. Like all these things, definitely highly driven by us. And I think my parents lacking knowledge in any and all aspects was a hidden blessing, definitely for both of us. So yeah, they honestly just raised us to be like having an active lifestyle, but the two main things were like education and just like activity. So they honestly prioritize education a lot more. We would miss like all these summer tournaments and camps just to go to like summer school, even though we had straight A's. They wanted us to do like SAT work in middle school. It was crazy, but I think they definitely instilled like a hard work ethic, and then that just traveled along to everything we did. It could have been dance. It could have been, I don't know, just crazy different hobbies, but just like that passion and drive was instilled with them.
What was it like for you and your sister growing up? Or because you've got two more siblings?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So what was that like for you guys growing up, given that, first generation families, and we all know, you and I and the people we work with, we all know a lot of these first generation families. Like, what's it like growing up like that, like in this American environment? Because again, North Jersey is very diverse, but also people have been here a little bit longer, and some people are a little bit more established as far as families go. But did you ever find like cultural identities were a challenge or maybe even a strength to you early on?
I didn't really recognize it as a younger kid. I think I only recognized maybe some challenges when I was in high school, and like they had no idea like what colleges were good here or like the recruiting process. So I always felt a little bit jealous and a little bit behind from like other players because I felt like they were ahead of the game. Their parents knew how to do all these things and set them up for success. And it was true. Like my sister and I, we had a little bit late of a recruiting process. It ended up being like the most amazing thing because it just depended on us. But that was the only like drawback. Other than that, growing up, I didn't really notice it. I think that, like New Jersey's a little bit is pretty diverse. We hung around diverse families. Definitely had different like rituals and kind of like celebrations throughout the year. But overall, it was, I think, a blessing.
Yeah. Was there any particular celebrations that you loved? Is there a Romanian thing, or maybe obviously there's I'm more familiar with some of the Mexican things, but was there any Romanian traditions that your mum would bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, definitely food wise. And we always celebrated Easter on like a different day, which was a little bit different. But I think the only thing that everyone looked at our family so weird, and we would like tell all of our friends, I don't know if it's a Romanian or Mexican or just European thing or if it's generalized or not, but we celebrated Christmas on Christmas Eve. Like Christmas Eve was our Christmas. And so when people were like, what are you doing for Christmas Day? It was just like a normal day. Christmas Eve was like the presents, the meal, like that was like our big hurrah. And we'd always tell people that, and they were like, what? You don't wake up on Christmas morning and open presents? And I'm like, no, Christmas night after dinner.
Yeah, and then it's done.
Yeah, then it's done. But that's it. That was just something funny.
So you and your twin sister Monica, you've got quite a sort of unique sibling story when it comes to soccer, haven't you? I mean, you both, like you said, you were late to the recruiting process, but you both ended up going to Notre Dame, which might sound crazy because of the way the recruiting process works. The fact that two twin sisters who were so late in the game wind up going to, a really successful Division I program. How did that come about? And was it an easy decision for you both? A, because of the timing, I suppose, but B, because you're so close with each other?
Yeah, I'll hit on both those aspects. Again, in the recruiting process, we had zero knowledge. My parents knew nothing about universities here. So like, as crazy as it sounds, I didn't even know what Notre Dame was, like if it was a good school, if it was like something that I should be like hyped about. Like when they reached out to us, I was like, what is this school? I have no idea. And now looking back, I'm like, wow, like hitting myself on the head. That's just crazy. But again, like priorities for us and like our passions lied in academics and athletics. And we just knew that we wanted to compete at the top for both. Like we never settled for anything like average. And so very quickly, our school choices were just narrowed down to high academics and then high athletic, I guess, performers. And then we didn't have that many choices. Notre Dame actually reached out to us, and they were the first school to reach out to us. But in high school, we were both like really small, super thin, like a little bit underdeveloped physically, just these like, I guess, like technical animals that just like loved soccer. So a lot of schools didn't even bat an eye to us. We got a lot of just like, no, they'll never do well. They're too small. We need some people more physical. But then, yeah, there was a couple schools that believed in us and reached out. So yeah, that's the first part. And then the second part is we never considered going anywhere apart. I don't know why, I don't know how, but growing up, we were just together. It was just Sabrina and Monica, the Flores twins. When we started to look at colleges, like I didn't even know it was possible not to go to school together. That's a little bit of like a tricky situation because we actually never really fully understood what like our own individual identities were until after college. So we had a little bit of a late bloom in terms of, okay, who is Sabrina? Like, who am I without my sister? Like, and just being individual. But again, it came with a lot of blessings. Like we were just always doing things together, like a package deal. So I don't know if schools reached out to us individually. I have no idea. All I know is that we just decided to go together, and Notre Dame was one of the schools that wanted us together.
That's fair enough. And then talk a little bit about identity and not quite knowing your identity. But again, just to add to your story with you guys, you both played against each other on the international stage.
Yeah.
At the U20 level, that's right.
Yeah.
You played for the US and Monica played for Mexico.
Correct.
And so what's it like to face your sister at that level?
Horrible. I would say that it was like the worst thing in the world. Again, like we're super tight. I feel like again, for my whole childhood and young adult life, my feelings were attached to how well she was doing, her emotions and everything. So playing against each other at that big world stage, like it's enough to be like anxious and like feeling pressure just individually. But then I was like, okay, also I need to make sure she's good. So I always hated playing against her. Whenever we went to national team camps and Mexico was in our group, or when we were doing international like friendlies, it was just horrible because I wanted her to succeed, but also I wanted to succeed. So yeah, it wasn't my favorite thing, although it was like cool to everyone else around us. I was like, I just need this to be over.
How did that come about? Was that just a case of they got to you first?
We both actually started with the U.S. With youth national teams, with ODP, that whole pathway when it was that pathway at that time. And then I think as we just got a little bit older, I started to get called in more frequently and Monica less. And then the U20 World Cup cycle started to roll around. And then I was selected and Monica unfortunately wasn't, which was like a heartbreak to both of us. Knocking on the door was the Mexican national team because we had dual citizenship at that time and we still do. And she was like, hell yeah, like that's just as much part of me as the United States is. So she just took that opportunity. She literally, it just asked her, and then she took it, and then she went fully with that and stuck with Mexico for quite a while.
Yeah. And you later chose to represent Mexico at the full international level, correct? Am I right there?
Yeah, it's a little bit, I don't like to say that I did because I never competed in a game. All I did was go to like one camp, and actually Monica was there, and she had been to many camps and she actually represented the full Mexican national team on with games and caps. I never got a cap with Mexico, but I did go to a training camp, a full team training camp. But that's the extent of my bout with them.
Yeah. What did that decision mean to you? And again, going back to that identity thing, like was it important to you at the time to make that sort of decision to go with at least just go to the camp more than anything else?
Yeah. To be honest, to be fully transparent, I weigh equally like US and Mexico in my heart. Like they're both in my blood. Same with Romania. It's all part of like who I am. And I was just rolling with just different opportunities that were coming with me. So I had competed with the under 20s for the US, but then afterwards, I never got the opportunity to go any higher. I wasn't selected for the under 23s or the full team. and I still loved soccer and I still wanted to compete at the highest level. So then when Mexico reached out to me, I was like, yeah, like that's the highest level that I could go. It means just as much to me as the US. So I was like, let me take this opportunity and go for it. But it was never really a decision like, should I do this or that? I felt it equally inside of me, but I just wanted to play at the highest level. So I was like, all right, any opportunity I'll take.
Yeah. Have you always been that way? Like just you see the opportunities and you take it. Like we talked about then just before you got on the phone, like you find it very difficult to switch off, very difficult to put on the brakes. And I've definitely been like that at points of my life. And do you find that's a trait that you take pride in showcasing, almost the fact that you are sometimes all gas, no brake?
Yeah, I honestly, yeah, I have to mellow it down sometimes because I know more is not always better. But I'm a big like be as prepared as you can and opportunities will come your way, and taking more opportunities is only a blessing. Sometimes I get uncomfortable or scared or nervous, but usually when I just continue to grind under the scenes like on my own or continue to be prepared, I don't know. I like to think that opportunities will come to me, and they have in my career so far, whether it's soccer, school, business wise. And then I just grab them because I think the fear of not doing it is worse than like failing. Like I didn't do well at that Mexican national team camp at all. Like I was like struggling with the altitude. I didn't perform well. And I was like, wow, I kind of set myself up. Now I went to a camp and I didn't even perform well. Maybe I shouldn't even have gone, but my mentality is the opposite. I always like to think that more opportunities, I can grow more, I can challenge myself with. So that's kind of my motto.
No, that's fine. And that's, I mean, it's a great, I can 100% agree with it and get on board with it because I've done the same thing. The more you put yourself into stuff, you never know what's going to pop up. And been proven to me as well. And like you said, it's been proven to you as well. So you get drafted out of college and you go to Sky Blue. Is that right? Yeah. So I don't even know why I'm saying it. Like I'm trying to guess because I know. But how long were you at Sky Blue before you took the opportunity to go to Seville?
So I got drafted to go to Sky Blue, but at that time, drafting, and I know now the draft is not even existent, but when you entered the draft, if you were a lower pick, didn't mean anything about a contract. So I think one of the last round picks in the draft, and Sky Blue selected me. So I went to preseason. I was training with the team, but I never got that full year contract. I only got like a national team replacement contract for I think it was, I don't know whether it was the Olympics or World Cup that was going on at that year. So when that happened, again, I was like, well, I don't know if I should take this because maybe I should think about another opportunity. So I just opened kind of like my radar to playing abroad because I thought that was going to be a good stepping stone for myself. And then, yeah, that's when the opportunity with Sevilla came, a full year contract. And I was like, all right, my main goal is to come back to the NWSL, no doubt. Like, I don't see a future in Europe right now. Like, I'm a homebody. I want to represent Sky Blue. I want to represent New Jersey. So I said, let me just go to Sevilla and compete there, get what I need to, grow, come back, and then give another shot to Sky Blue Gotham now. And that's what kind of led me there. And it was definitely a very good choice because I grew so much there, like on and off the field.
Was that the first time you've been away from family and friends for a long period of time, out with college, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. For the national team, we would always have training camps and go for a couple of weeks period. But that was the first time, like for a full year, I was committing to going and living somewhere else and doing that.
Yeah, and did you have any sort of support system while you were there, or was it just the club?
No, I did. I felt like all aspects of my experience there were positive and supportive. I really have truly nothing to complain. I think that I really realized that soccer is more to me than just playing. Like, and that's where it hit me when I was playing abroad. I was like depressed there. And I was like, why am I depressed? The soccer's great. The city is incredible. The team is amazing. I'm in one of the best areas. I have a great support system, but I was just so sad and depressed for most of the year. And I realized that at that point, yeah, I'm playing soccer and I'm competing, But I was like, man, why do I feel this way? And it was because like community and like representing a little bit more than myself meant more to me. And still to this day, I feel like that community and that bigger picture revolves around like home and New Jersey youth soccer and inspiring the people that I grew up with and giving back to those people. Maybe if I lived in Sevilla for longer, I would feel that connection, but I just didn't feel it there. Like I felt like I was playing for a club, but I didn't feel like I was like representing something with my full heart there. Whereas as soon as I come back to the US, I'm like, I would do anything. I would give up everything just to represent here.
It's funny though as well you say that, because you think about player high school, you're with your sister, you and your sister are connected, you're obviously playing for high school. Then you go to Notre Dame, you've got a connection, you're playing for, again, you've already said you're not only playing for yourself, but you're playing for your sister's interest as well, or you're concerned about your sister's interest. National team, same sort of thing. And now, yeah, this might be the first time in Seville that you really are just, I mean, it sounds blasé to say it.
You're right.
But you're just a professional soccer player.
Yeah,
like
I know.
You're just part of a machine. Yeah. And then this question answers itself. Like, was it an easy decision to come back to Gotham in 2020?
Yeah, for sure. Because that was always in my plans. Like I went there for sole mission to play and then come back here. Then COVID happened, and it honestly was like a hidden blessing, despite everything that went on with that. And like all the protocol that we had to do in Spain, it was just crazy. But I think it was a really big blessing because I had to do a lot of like internal work. And then when I came back, I was just like training all throughout COVID on my own. So I was fit enough to then go, and I was like, can I try out for Sky Blue? And they were like, yeah, you can come to training. Like, obviously we know you, like come back. And then within a couple days or a couple weeks, I got fully contracted for the team. And then ever since I played with them.
Yeah. And your time there ended in 2023, but it also ended with winning the championship for the group.
Yeah.
What did that title mean to you, especially after everything you'd been through with the ups and downs of how things had gone, and the time in Sevilla when you understood kind of things clicked about, got a little bit of depression and wanting to contribute to something, especially in this area? Like, what did winning that title mean to you personally?
I mean, everything. I think that, again, like so much of why I loved playing for Gotham Sky Blue was just representing the greater New Jersey, like youth soccer and like just growth within that system. I didn't play much at all my last 2 years. I had battled a lot of knee injuries, a foot injury. I was like a typical kind of like bench player for my last 2 years at Gotham. And a lot of people questioned me, like, why would you stay? Like, you're stunting your growth. You're making the wrong decision. You should go to a team where you're actually going to play. And I was like, you're not wrong. Like, there could be other teams that I could go to and play a lot more. But again, in my gut and heart, I was more obsessed and more passionate about like growth, first of all, with the best players in the world, because Gotham was giving that to me. Didn't care as much about playing time as I did with that like personal growth internally, on the field, off the field, and then also representing something bigger than myself, which was my huge passion. So yeah, I chose to be a bench player. Like it was a clear role that I had. I was the best training player that I could possibly be. I tried to make everyone better, and I loved it. Like I wouldn't trade anything for it. I wouldn't go back in time and go to another team, because again, my happiness came from internal growth and helping my team succeed. And I just kind of knew my role and I loved it. So when we lifted that trophy in 2023, I didn't step on the field once during that game. And if not like a couple of times just that season. And I was like, I felt so prideful of it still. And just as important as any other person on the team, because I felt like I gave every single thing of my body, every minute of that year to help the team succeed. So it was definitely like an amazing feeling. Yeah, would it be like way better if I played and was on the field? 100%. There's no doubt. Like I love competing, but it definitely was really special regardless.
Yeah. Do you see, I mean, you see the value in that as well, being that player that's in the, like, every team. That's the true sort of definition, isn't it, of a team player, of someone who's contributing for the greater good?
Yeah. It's, again, I feel like it's just in my nature. I love contributing, like you said, to the greater good. I love helping others succeed, maybe at some points, like more than myself. But I also just love the training aspect more than the actual game experiences in soccer. And I think that's why now I do what I do, is because I am obsessed with like training and developing. Now I give it back to younger players. But yeah, I just loved, like, there's just something that I'm obsessed with like challenging just individual growth and developing, no matter what the external rewards are.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll get to that now as well. So after retiring in 23, you've been doing a lot of the one-on-one training and small group training, and you've recently launched Flow 2.0. Am I right with that?
Yeah.
Perfect. And and it's along the lines of what you said. It's training and mentorship service, primarily for young female players.
Yeah, primarily for females, but it's definitely not exclusive to females. I train a bunch of boys as well, but my sole purpose is that, like, empowerment on the fields, obviously through soccer, but also just helping these kids develop, like, just the confidence, the mental skill set, the ability to then go and work on their own, just giving them that, like, support system, because that was key for my success and kind of what I think soccer gave me. So yeah, that's what I do. It's just that all day, every day.
I wouldn't have it. Listen, if I had sons, I would have no problem sending your way, given the way that I've seen you play against some of the guys that I've had in my time. So
I appreciate
no,
it.
yeah, no issue with that at all. What are some of the core values that you try and model and pass on through Flow 2.0 or through any other coaching work that you do or have done?
Yeah, I mean, a couple pillars that I always say is like are pillars that I've kind of embraced throughout my career and still every day, and I feel like are like non-negotiables. It has nothing to do with anything external. So the first and foremost is like controlling the controllables, and that goes along with work ethic. Like that's number one priority. I think that if people have a strong work ethic, you can get far more in life than coasting, and you also get the ability to challenge and push your potential. And then I just really preach work ethic, being kind, and then also embracing all the ups and downs, like embracing the journey. And those are all things that I've learned throughout my career. So I give that to other people. And I always say, like, I don't care if you can't even kick a soccer ball when you come to me. All I care is that you leave better, again, with the ball and without the ball, after the 60 minutes, after the year, whatever it may be.
Was there ever any doubt for you going into this that, all right, yeah, you're the training player, you're the driving force behind a lot of the players, and you'll give the players within your team the right sort of kick up the arse, if you will. Was there ever a question like as to that you would be able to transfer that into younger kids that maybe aren't as, I don't know, is it driven is the right word, or maybe
Yeah.
focused?
For me, there was no doubt. In fact, like, I find so much joy in like trying to instill that for young players, because I know everyone has it within them. It's just one, either they don't know how to tap into it, or maybe they've been mentored or pushed in a way that hasn't been like suitable to what they need. And I love that challenge. Like, I love figuring out a way how to communicate to players and finding that thing that makes them tick. And then just that like little smile or that little light up that they have, that they can feel like, okay, I got this. I can build from this. So I never had any doubt, because I just felt like, I don't know. Yeah, I did that for most of my career with different training players and different people on teams. And you would be surprised, even at the pro level, how it fluctuates. Like, there's players that still could care less and they're at the pro level. I know it sounds crazy, but there's people that really, really care and have that discipline and motivation and drive, and then people that are just there. And so I dealt with everyone, because I was training for most of it. So I was like, okay, I need to find a way to push and be that like strong factor.
Did you find you ever got anything out of those type of players? Like, I know exactly what you mean. Like, you've got the pros that are just, maybe they're there for the check or they're there for whatever. And did you ever find that you could find ways to make them tick as well in training? Or was it just a case of, listen, lost causes almost? Very good players, a lot of talent, but don't have that mentality that you maybe had? Or were you able to get into them a little bit?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think absolutely. It's kind of like a hard balance, because I had to quickly realize that not everyone works the same way I do, and not everyone is as passionate as I do. And it's sometimes like you can succeed without that. And there are players like in the world that just have that talent or that natural ability and don't need that like obsessive like workhorse mentality. I used to get like ticked off at those players, but at the end of the day, that's just what makes like sports. Like you have different players that just are more natural, players that need to work a little bit harder, players that live and breathe the sport, players that can just wake up and train and be good. So yeah, there were some players that I could get into, and then some players that I was just like, all right, yeah, it is a lost cause, but it's not like they're not doing well. Like I just maybe can't relate to them.
So going into your role now as a mentor, how do you define mentorship now, and why is it so important for you in this? And why is it so important to Flow 2.0?
That's a good question. I feel like it all comes back to empowerment. I don't think that I would have any happiness or passion if I was just like teaching skills or like teaching people how to do certain things. I think that my true passion lies, and I think what mentorship is like giving people the tool set to then believe it in themselves and translate it themselves into their life in and out of soccer, years to come, their whole human being. And so, yeah, I think it's just empowerment. And if I can empower, and that just truly means like give someone ownership of their own abilities and have them believe that they're capable of doing things and also execute what it's necessary to get there, then my job is done. Again, soccer is amazing. It's given me so much, but it's given me a lot more to my like whole human being personality and work ethic and outlook on life than just like how to juggle and dribble and shoot and pass. So it's kind of like that both. Like I use soccer as a vehicle to instill that empowerment in others.
Looking back on your own career, was there something you wish you'd heard as a younger player? And if so, how do you make sure that the players you're working with now do hear that?
Maybe it's not something that I wish I heard. It was definitely said to me a lot. There's a couple of things. I hope I don't lose my train of thought because there's a couple of things that popped into my mind. One, and what I try to share to everyone, and I learned throughout my career, is the journey is way greater than the outcome. So I used to be, and it still is, like hard for anyone to put so much value in that like reward, and that like that final product. But the journey of growth, like that's why we do things. That's why we even reach for them, because we grow so much, again, as players, as humans. So the journey is like embrace the journey. That's one thing. Another thing, which I have trouble doing to this day, is more is not always better. And I had to be sat down by many coaches in my youth career and college and national team and pro that just said, Sabrina, chill out. Like you don't have to do so much to be so good. And in fact, I think that limited me as a pro in my later career because I just love to do things. So I think that if I were to go back in time, I would try to be more of a player that would focus on maybe resting more. But I don't, again, that's just part of my personality. So I don't take it for granted and I don't regret it. I think it led me to a lot of success. But yeah, more is not always better. There's some times where you got to push a quality, and taking care of your body and being fully you is important. And then the last one, which like as a little girl probably I needed more of, was like just like you're okay, you're good being you. I think that, again, I didn't have my identity until after college. I know being a twin was a huge part of that. And both me and my sister talk about this all the time. Like we didn't fully understand like, okay, who am I? So I wish I could go back in time and give like little Sabrina like that confidence, like whatever you're feeling, whatever you want to do, like you're good enough yourself. And yeah, so that's what I would. So there's some 3 things that I would give back.
No, that's good. That's really cool. Like, so you've shown vulnerability there just by telling me those things, right? The things that you're very aware of. But what role do you think vulnerability plays in coaching? Like, are you able to share, not everything, but struggles that you had as a player with the players that you work now, or almost to normalize it, any ups and downs that happen, of whatever journey they're on at the moment, just recognizing, listen, this is a perfectly normal thing. Like I say this to players now, and some of them make fun of me as well. I say, like, be where your feet are. Just enjoy the fact that you are where you are, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like you're not doing anything right or wrong. It's just, this is where you are at this point, and this is what you're going to do to move to the next step.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's spot on. I mean, again, I think the best coaches are the ones that are the most vulnerable because, I mean, especially for females and young girls, like you want to have someone to relate to. And if I can't be someone that's open and sharing my struggles and being authentic, then what am I preaching to these young girls? Like I want everyone to have that ownership of their own individuality, and vulnerability definitely plays a role in that. So yeah, I try to be as just human, friend, mentor with all my players. Obviously, there's a line of professionalism that needs to be drawn. But at the end of the day, these players, they come to me, or why I created my business is I want players and parents and people to come to me, not only to become better soccer players, but to become better humans. And that starts with just like that relatedness. Like, okay, can I trust this person? How is she one to tell me what to do? And we're all just the same.
Was there anything like personal breakthrough that you've had, be it a mental thing or an emotional thing, that shaped you more now how you show for others? Because listen, you come across as this, and I, based on what I know of you, is you are a very selfless person. Like, is that something that has just shaped the way you are now? Has there been something along the way where it's clicked and you're like, right, okay, I need to be more like this because it will help these people or these younger people or these players to get better? Like, has there been one moment, or is it just this, just the way that you are?
I feel like it might just be like an innate quality. I think like even as a young girl, like I just always was super selfless and like team oriented and giving to others. And I always had pride in that. Like I always wanted to be that person that could help the most, like help, like find ways to help here, help there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to ask my psychologist to dig into this question, but I'm not quite sure exactly if there was a moment. I definitely knew, probably because my younger self struggled again with like my own individuality and like my own feelings. So maybe that's like a way for me to like project those to other people and like limit that type of maybe pain, insecurities from other people. So that's why I do love helping. Maybe that's why. Who knows?
It could be. So just to go back to your sister just quickly, how do you stay connected with your sister now? Because is it right that you've set up, we'll call it sister training companies?
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. Our relationship is the best and like closest it's probably ever been, I think, and the healthiest. Again, we grew up like neck and neck together, but we also didn't have our own individuality. Now we have our own individuality. We had to use like a physical barrier to form that. She lives in Mexico. I live in here in the United States. But that was like the best thing because now we talk multiple times a day, every single day. We share everything with each other, but we also are able to live our own lives. And she, ironically and coincidentally, does pretty much the same thing that I do here in New Jersey, but in Mexico. And that we never talked about. We just like developed our own pathways as we moved on to other things. And yeah, like a couple years down later, we were just like, wow, we're actually doing the same thing, but in different countries. And we're both equally as passionate about it. Yeah, we don't share any business ideas. We don't share like all the ins and outs. We just have like naturally come to this place where we're both doing the same thing, which I think is so cool. Like we never once talked about it. And just one day we were like, wow, like we actually have the same business, but in opposite sides of the world.
It is really straight. I mean, I thought it was all part of the setup. I thought that's what it was.
Well, initially, like if we were living together, I would, or like in the same area, like that would have been maybe something I thought about. But when she moved off to Mexico, and I decided to stay here, like we just were doing our own things. Yeah. And then it just unraveled this way. Maybe it's a
Do you share ideas now?
thing. We share ideas after the fact, but yeah, and like get excited about it. But we're never like brainstorming like, oh, you should do this or this. Like things have just happened organically, which I think is like the best thing again for us, like just on our own paths, but doing similar things that we both love.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So we'll talk about, you're about to welcome your first child.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're 34 weeks. Again, congratulations with your partner, Carly.
Thank you.
how's pregnancy shifted your mindset? Because this is a whole new challenge.
Yeah, that's a whole new challenge. Honestly, it's been like one of the greatest blessings. I think for all of my life, soccer came first. And that was my whole life. I didn't have any other choices other than just to love soccer and fully commit to get to the highest level. And that's how you get to the highest level. Like, you can't do many things at once if you want to get to the highest level at something. Well, that was my full life. And then I truly do think that retiring and not getting that invite back to Gotham in the end of 2023/2024 was a blessing, because it forced me to like dig deep into like, okay, who am I without that label as a professional soccer player? Like, what makes me happy? What makes me tick? One was the business, like helping give back to the community and young players. And another one was like, wow, I actually really want to start a family, and I feel like I'm ready to. Like, I feel like it's in my blood to like be raising a family and being part of one. And so that just kind of like opened doors. I wouldn't have even thought about it if I didn't get cut that last year from Gotham. So I think that everything comes with a hidden blessing. Because I just had more opportunities to be me, to do things that I never had tried before or thought about before. And now with pregnancy, like my main priority, like I said, has always been performance on the field. Now my main priority is growing a human inside me and doing everything possible for that. And it's so cool. Like, I still have that like nutcase, passionate personality. Like, everything I do is I put my full heart into it, but the why is a little bit different. Like, I still am training like a crazy animal, but I do it for a different purpose. One was to perform on the field. Now it's to just keep my body healthy, happy, strong, and get ready for giving birth, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I'm bringing it up because it happens. I see all the videos every day. You're 34 weeks and you're still knocking out these fitness videos, which I get tired looking at these videos, mate. But what does it mean to you I know you're all gas, no brakes sometimes, but what does it mean to you to continue the workouts and the coaching throughout your pregnancy journey?
Honestly, it means everything. Like, so many people told me during pregnancy or before pregnancy, like, your life is going to change. Like, yeah, clearly it's going to change. Like, I'm going to bring a kid into the world. Like, everything changes with that. But it doesn't mean like, I mean, I'm very fortunate that I've had a good pregnancy, and I don't want to take away from people that like don't have this ability, because I know everyone's journey is different, but you can still do things that you love and are passionate about if you make the time, effort, and take care of your body. Again, not to discredit and say that everyone else is lazy and not doing things, but this is stuff that I am passionate about. It makes me tick. It makes me happy. It makes me get up in the morning. Like, I just love challenging my mind and body. And so to me, it's super important that I can continue doing that. And if I'm healthy enough too, then like, why not? If it's healthy for my pregnancy, why not? Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, there's no excuses to not take care of yourself. And for me, taking care of myself is doing these things, because it just brings me a lot of joy.
Do you find that, I don't know if this question goes anywhere, but do you find that the kids that you are mentoring and teaching and coaching, they see you in the third trimester and like, again, I've got no basis for comparison, but I can only imagine that it's just like you're just tired at this point. Just get him out and let's get it. Let's be a mum already. But do you find that the kids sort of, they see that as like an inspirational thing? Because listen, you're doing something here where you're still working, you're still active, so active, you're still teaching these guys. Is that something that you're able to, do you talk about it a little bit? Do they recognize it, you think? Or
Yeah, I mean, some of the kids are a little bit young to like understand fully what's going on.
what's going on?
But my older ones, yeah, I feel like that empowerment aspect is even at a higher level right now. And again, it just comes back to like what I feel like I'm built to do is just like leading by example. Like, if I can do the things that I'm doing now at 34 weeks pregnant, then what do these little girls think that they're going to be able to do? And that's what I want to give. And the support around it has been amazing. Like, especially the little ones are super excited for me. They always try to guess the gender. The parents have been nothing but supportive. And I realized like, yeah, like giving myself a little bit of grace throughout the journey is important, because what I'm doing is pretty miraculous, like in terms of growing something inside me and still giving as much as I do to other people, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, again, I'm not going to change what I love to do. I might have to tweak it and how I'm doing it, obviously, but like my passions, like I want to continue doing them.
Yeah. What excites you most about raising a family now then, around such a strong foundation of, love, family, and obviously the purpose that you've got with the business as well?
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm a little kid at heart. And again, I think it's because I want to give that little Sabrina that support, but I just think that it's going to be incredible. And if I feel so strong and connected to the players that I currently coach, and it's just a business and I'm not related to them. I've maybe met them one time, a lot of them for many years now. But if I feel that connectedness to empowering and supporting and helping them grow with people I don't know, then I can only imagine how strong it would feel to raise one of my own. But it's the same aspects. Like, I just want to, again, like, empower, like, even from a young age, like empower this boy or girl to be the best person they can be, whatever they do, just give them that support to be the best that they want to be.
Cool. Really cool. What does success mean to you now at this stage?
Success just means growth. Again, anything external or results oriented aside, I think that's minimal in comparison to like growth. If I can wake up and grow in any aspect, whether again that's business, personal life, soccer, whatever, that's success. I think there's no limit to how much a person can grow. And that's again what fuels me. It's that journey to just growth and tapping into what my full potential is.
What are you most proud of yourself up to this point?
What am I most proud of is kind of embracing like my uniqueness. I used to be super self-conscious about what my passions were, how passionate I was about those things. Maybe my identity, the person that I decided to love, the family that I wanted to create. I used to be super self-conscious and insecure about a lot of those things. And I think that I'm most proud of like embracing, like, okay, like this is who I am, like, and can't change some of those aspects. So why not just be the best and kindest and most giving within all those characteristics?
It's a good answer. It's fair enough. Listen, Sabrina, I really appreciate the time today. It's been great. I think you've done a really good job. You've given yourself a good story. We wish you all the best with the birth and everything else, and we wish you the best with the we'll keep an eye on the business as well. Maybe just ease up on the workout videos just a little bit, just to make us all feel better about ourselves. But especially when it's 100 degrees out and you're doing kick-ups on the beach at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is you're doing.
I had to get out there that early because of the heat. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I better be out there at 5 a.m. during the sunrise. But in all seriousness, I appreciate like all the questions definitely made me think about everything, and I feel grateful to share my journey, because if one person can listen and even connect with me and I can give to them something, then that's the beauty of it.
No, definitely. All right, listen, just before you go though, we usually ask a couple of quick fire questions to people. So if you could just bear with me for a little bit, we'll see where we go with it.
Okay.
All right, I'm curious about this one, right? You're like fitness videos, everything else. Is there possibly anything unhealthy that you eat? And if so, what is it?
Unhealthy, I would say I do like dark chocolate, maybe.
That's the healthiest type of chocolate as well.
I know, but I love dark chocolate. I love my Cotto ice cream. It's like an avocado-based ice cream. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Okay, fair enough. One teammate that made you laugh every single day.
One teammate that made me laugh. That's a good question. This is not rapid fire, so I'm having to think about it. I can't think of a teammate that made me laugh. Maybe some too serious on the field.
Best advice you ever got as a player or as a mom to be?
Embrace it.
Best feeling as a professional player?
Helping my teammates out.
And you are like, yeah, you're like,
truly,
you never break character. I was like, lifted a trophy. I was like, you never break character. It's excellent.
Even that, like, it was cool, but like, again, just like helping and like knowing that I contributed and like seeing them do well because of something I did to them at training, like that's the best.
All right. Even now, 34 weeks, how many push-ups can you do in one go?
I think I'm like down to like 20.
Still a lot.
I'm definitely not breaking 20 right now. Yeah.
And then the last question, who's tougher, Jersey boys or Jersey girls?
Jersey girls, 100%.
I'd actually couldn't argue with that
I
one
think
either.
we'll kick any Jersey boys' butts. Or Jersey girls, again, there's something built some way different.
Mate, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it too.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you or someone you know has a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us via our socials or visit www.crossingthepondpodcast.com to get in touch. Please be sure to subscribe, like, or leave a comment if you can. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Across Pond Podcasting.